Welcome. First of all, I'd like to wish all Father a blessed Father Day. And I want to bless all parents too. And today we will look at the fifth commandment about honoring parents. And I've given a title, If Your Son is Your Father's Son, Are You Happy? Now the fifth commandment said this: honor your father and mother so that you may live long in the land the Lord your God is giving you. And this is also the commandment that comes with a promise. And mind you, every time when God gives us a promise, the devil would attack. For simple reason, because it comes with a promise. And the devil is not about to let us enjoy this promise so easily. So we will realize that this aspect about honoring our parents faces challenges. Now first we look at the context of the Ten Commandments. The Hebrews were in Egypt. They were persecuted. They were not having it good. The Egyptian under Pharaoh was persecuting and making their life very difficult. And so while in Egypt, we notice that they were slaves. In Exodus 20 verses 1 and 2 tells us this. It says, and God spoke all these words, I am the Lord your God who brought you out of Egypt, out of the land of slavery. So they were slaves in Egypt. Now, as slaves, they are not having a good life. And they were living in a context or in an environment where might is right. During the feudal times or the feudal system, if you have power, you have might, you are the law, you are right, you can do anything. And the Hebrews were living under those circumstances. And when they were in Egypt as slaves, there was no guiding principle. There was no true God. They did not worship a true God. Although it is true that the Bible indicates that they cried out to God in their hardship, but generally they do not worship a true God. Why? Because it can be easily proven. When Moses was up on the mountain meeting God, that's the time when he received the Ten Commandments. Down on in the foot of the hill, through Aaron, they worship the golden calf. That's not the true God. So generally, the Hebrews, they did not worship a true God. And as slaves, they do not have labor law. There were no requirement for them to rest. And the Egyptians persecuted them, make them work day and night. And working life was very difficult, I believe. There was no honor or integrity. The Hebrews would have witnessed how the Egyptian taskmasters would have abused their parents, their grandparents in front of their eyes. And mind you, you can imagine when your elders, your parents and grandparents, are abused, mistreated before your eyes. I think somehow, deep in our being, their status will also be low. Do parents in those times have honor? I doubt so. And they have no rights, whether life or property. Remember that when they left Egypt, God blessed them. They actually took gold and silver from the Egyptians. Perhaps those were the array in salaries, what the Egyptians owed them. But while they were still in Egypt, they were poor, mistreated, no rights to property, no right to their personal freedom, etc. And you can be proven that an Egyptian killed a Hebrew. That's why Moses later killed that Egyptian. So you see, an Egyptian, an ordinary Egyptian, can mistreat, abuse any Hebrews. There's no dignity. There's no dignity to talk about. Now, when you put them all together, you notice that while in Egypt, they lack all this. Now, God has let them out of Egypt, and now they are living in a new community, a new way. Although they were in the wilderness, but now they are governing themselves. They are no longer under the so-called the crux, the clutch of the Egyptian control. So how do they conduct themselves? So God gave them the 10 Commandments, and we know that the first 3 commandments, that is to worship God, towards God. Then you come to the 4th commandment, talk about rest. It is between God and man. They rest so that they can remember God. And then the 5th commandment, and from the 5th commandment onwards, it talks about man. So the first 3, God. The 4th is about man, or God and man. Then from the 5th onward is about family, about other people in society. So parents come at the head of this other commandment. Honor your parents. Because if in the home there is no honor for parents, then society will break down. All other things will fail. You see, someone said, if without country, there is no home. But it is also true, if there are no home, there is no country. It will become a wasteland. A wasteland, if there are no homes. So, the basic entity of a society is a family. And in a family, there are order. How a family can properly function, it starts with honoring our parents. Secondly, honor means different thing to different age groups. In Exodus 20:12, it reads, honor your father and your mother so that you may live long in the land that the Lord your God is giving you. It's honor. God specifically used that phrase, honor your father and your mother. But there are different age groups. Our children grow up. So there are different age groups, and I classify them under 3 age groups. First, the child. As a child, there's one way of honoring your parents. Because a child cannot really make decisions for themselves, or for himself or herself. They have not the capacity to know what is right from wrong. They are too young to know that. Secondly, we have the young adults. When they come of age, when they begin to know what is right and what is wrong, and they can make decisions, but before they are married. So the way they honor their parents would have been different from the way a child honors his or her parents. Then you have married children. See, when these adult children form their own family, their relationship with their parents again shifted a bit. And now, how can they honor their parents? Well, as a child, the Bible makes it very clear. In Ephesians 6:1, it says, children, obey your parents in the Lord, for this is right. See, the word there is obey. What is obey? Obey is to be obedient. That is to listen to the instruction by the parent and then follow it. There's no argument. Well, it is not dictatorial. Because as a child, if you don't obey your parent, that child will suffer. Give you an example. If the If a mother were to tell a 5-year-old child and say, "Dear, please don't play with fire." We all know too well. The child may not understand the danger of fire. She or he may get burned. Or, "My dear, please climb down from the window ledge. You may fall over." The child did not know that it is dangerous. So if the child doesn't obey, what happens? Harm will come upon him. So to obey as a child is to honor parents as a child is to obey parents. Pure and simple. So they are our guardian. They guard our soul. They protect us. At the same time, they love us. Now, as a young adult, that's when you become older. You grow older. Now you have your maturity. Now you can make decisions. You can understand what is right from wrong. But you have not all the full maturity yet. There are still things that you have no experience. So as a teen, let's say, if the parent were to tell their daughter and say, "Dear, be very careful. Don't be too close to your newfound so-called boyfriend who is 30 years old. You are only 15 and he is 30. My dear, be very careful. Stop this relationship." Now, obviously, the daughter could have two reactions. One, stop the relationship. Two, she will despise the relationship and think that the father and mother is persecuting her. But you see, if she were to listen to the parents, probably she will spare herself heartaches. Now, I'm not saying that every 30-year-old man has a bad motive. I'm not saying that. But I think experience tells us why a 30-year-old man is interested in a 15-year-old girl. In Hebrews chapter 12 and verse 9, it says, "Moreover, we have all had human fathers who disciplined us, and we respected them for it." So when you are a young adult, you're in the second layer. To honor your parents means to respect them. Respect their decisions. Respect them, respect their position. There are a lot of tension among or between teenage daughters and mothers. I've seen a lot of teenage girls. They have a lot of tension with their mothers until they got married and when they have children. And suddenly the relationship is meant. Why? Because when they have children, they suddenly realize it is difficult to be mothers. So when they are not in that position, they will thought that their mothers or their father do not understand them, do not have their interest at heart. They don't see eye to eye. But really, the Bible says, learn to respect them. It is for the good of your soul. So respect your parents if you belong to the second group. And then in Proverbs 23:22 says, "Listen to your father who gave you life, and do not despise your mother when she is old." You see, listen. The ability to listen to your parents serves you well. Because if you don't listen to them, harm may come to you, although you have the capacity to make decisions. And your parents cannot control you because now you have the freedom to make friends, to make many decisions in life. So if you do not listen, harm may come upon you. You choose. You choose to listen. you choose to respect. Your parent cannot force it upon you. See, in order for you to honor them as young adults, there are two ways. Respect them, listen to them. Now, you may have more education than them. You may be more tech savvy. But it doesn't mean that your parents have no experience. They live longer in this world than you. So they have earned certain credibility to advise you. But they may not be totally right. And if they are asking you to do something that is immoral, that's against the law, then you don't obey. In this regard, the Chinese has a problem. The Chinese filial piety versus honoring parents has some tension. Because I come across very filial children. Because they are very filial to their parents, they cannot bring themselves to accept Jesus as their Lord and Savior, although they know that that is the truth and it is good for them. But because of their parents, they hesitate to take that step forward. All in the name of filial piety. You know something? This is where filial piety and honoring comes to a head and it has tension. But to honor, the Bible talks about honor, not filial piety. To honor does not mean that you listen 100% what your parents say. Our parents may be wrong. And if they ask us to do something that is immoral, that is illegal, we don't have to follow. If their decision in your own assessment, and it's a good assessment, and that it is not as ideal, I think you have every right to make a better decision. But you honor them by listening. First, you must learn to listen first. Don't reject them. And say, no, you're stupid, you're old, no, you don't have education, I'm not going to listen. No, that's not the attitude. And respect them. But you don't have to follow all that they said. Because all that they said could have certain flaws. They may not even know. Because parents, will come to that. Parents are not perfect. Now, how about the third category? Married children. Well, for married children, once you marry, you still honor them by listening to them, respect them, no change. You need not be obeying them in everything that they say like a child. But because now you have a family, you form a family, and so you have your own life to run. But how then can you relate with your parents? Well, now honoring takes on another aspect, another way of honoring your parents. We'll come to that later. But basically, you still listen to them, respect them, and let me define what honor is. Now, honor in the original means glory. You surprised? Honor means glory. When we say we glory God, we glorify God. What do you mean by glorifying God? You have to look at the word glory. The word glory means weighty. The Hebrew concept, weighty means what? Means it has substance. Things that have substance are weighty. And weighty means important. So to glorify God is to look at God and treat God as weighty, important. You see, that's the meaning. So when we say we honor our parents, then we treat them as important, that their words carries weight. Their words carries weight. You don't take it lightly. That's what it means by honoring. Honoring is not giving a person a badge. Publicly say a few words and there's honor. No, those are lip services. Because what we said and our life must tally. Sometimes our words can honor our parents. But in our life, we don't. So it's not about giving your parents a badge to wear, Your son honor you, and you feel your honor. No, no, no. That is not the true honoring. Honoring is to treat parents as important. Their views, their words are weighty. While they may not be totally right all the time. This honor. Now in Proverbs 20:29 says, the glory of young men is their strength, grey hair, the splendor of the old. When you are young, your strength is your glory. But when you have come of age, your grey hair is your splendor. Because every grey hair tells you that you are closer to God. The grey hair is your glory. You have accumulated enough points on earth. And mind you, the grey hairs come from the children many a time. Because the worries we give to our parents. Your mistakes. Your action, your behavior. Your late night out and did not come back, especially if you are a girl. You had all the grey hair on your mother's head. So the grey hair is all that they care, they love you. It's their splendor. So if you have grey hair, don't dye. At one time I dyed my hair. I regretted it because it spoils my scalp and my hair. It really affected. So later my wife convinced me, no more dyeing. Grey hair is good. Grey hair actually shows that you have come of age. And it is not ashamed to have grey hair. Thirdly, we look at parents. Parents are not perfect. No parent is perfect. Because they are sinners. If they are Christian, redeemed by grace. How can sinners' parents be perfect? They are only trying to do their role well. But they are not perfect. So if we understand and accept this, that our parents are never perfect. See, generally parents are good. I believe that. But there are some parents who are abusive and perhaps they are full of flaws. And you may have parents who are abusive and have flaws. Then how do you deal with it? Well, if we have good parents, then praise the Lord. Hallelujah. What about parents who are abusive and full of flaws? Come home drunk, unreasonable demands, etc., etc. And sometimes because of their unreasonableness and because of their flaw, they physically abuse the children. Maybe most of the time will be the fathers. They physically abuse the children. When they discipline them, instead of using a cane, they use their belt. They use stick. They use anything that their hand can lay hold of and they start to fling. It could be pots, could be pans, could be anything. And they really physically abuse the children. And so the children are hurt. Or emotional abuse. Well, they may not physically abuse the child, but their words, hurting words. And sometimes, to give them some excuses. They may be frustrated, they may be angry, and so they have to vent it out. And sometimes those were angry words. But nonetheless, when the words came forth, the person who spoke it may not mean it, but the person who listened receive it and receive it deeply. And it may hurt that person for many years to come. So their emotional abuse, some make their children feel guilty, make them having guilt complex, unworthy, etc. And so parents are not perfect. And as a result, children are hurt. You may be one of those victims, I do not know. If you are not, then praise the Lord. What happens if you are? Well, my suggestion is learn to forgive and then reconcile with your parents. See, I come across this one particular case. that I never forgot. This particular lady, her hand was clutched this way, her fist. She cannot open. And we realized that the problem was unforgiveness. Her father had done something bad physically towards her. And for many years, she hated her father. She could not forgive. And this hatred is beginning to eat her within, and then after that hurt her without, outside. And one day when she came to the church, many years ago, this happened many years ago, and when she heard the love of God and learned to forgive her father, immediately her hands were free. So we have to learn to forgive. Our parents are not perfect. I'm not saying that the hurt that you have gone through are not real. I'm not suggesting that. It could be painful. But you need to learn to forgive and learn to reconcile. You have a good talk with your parents. And sometimes, I guess, they might not have known Christ yet. Why? One reason, because of this breach in your relationship. You have not got the desire or the great urge to bring them to Christ. Or they themselves have felt that breach too, and they dare not approach you. And your relationship between child and parents has a chasm, so to speak. But you know something? You care for the soul of your parents. When you learn to reconcile, you learn to forgive, you will be able to bring them to Christ. Trust me. Because reconciliation will help them to see the love of God. I know people, when they heard about God being the Heavenly Father, they were so afraid. They did not accept Christ because they superimposed the God and their earthly father. And when they used the word Heavenly Father, they thought that God is like their earthly father because they don't have good earthly fathers. So you see, that responsibility comes to parents. That if we do not live up to the expectation of a father and a mother, we hurt our children. But the important thing is, we all must learn to forgive. How God forgives us, let us learn to forgive your father, your mother, if need be. Reconcile with them. And I can challenge you. And you see how God is going to bless your family. How God is going to bless your relationship between you and your parents. Fourthly, remember, parenthood comes with a great price tag. It's not cheap. First, they sacrifice money. Because to have children means to spend money. If they do not have you, they could have nicer cars, maybe nicer clothing, nicer holidays. Because those money will have to be spent on your piano lesson fee, your tuition fees, etc., etc. So they actually sacrifice money to raise children. But then you said, I did not choose my parents. It's not my problem. Well, I want to say this. God chose your parents so that you can come into existence. If God did not choose your parents, you will never have come into existence. So it's true that you did not choose your parents. But your very existence is because of your parents. If not, you don't even have a chance to see life. You may not know what is bread and what hot or cold. You will never have a chance to taste life. So parents sacrifice money. They also sacrifice time. You know, couples without children, they have more time to themselves. But first of all, let me clarify this. There are some couples, because of biological reason, they could not have children. They long to have children, but they just could not because of a biological reason. But I have counseled couple when they were planning to get married, and I normally ask them this question: how many children do you all plan to have? I expect them to say one or two, or I don't expect them to say 6 or 12, But I have come across a few couples. I married many people in my 40 over years in the ministry. And I come across some couple who say, no, we don't have children. And not because of a biological reason, not because of their bodily, incompleteness or whatsoever. And I will ask them, I say, then why you bother to get married? Because children is the fruit of marriage. You can have all the prevention, but one day when all those prevention fail, and then a child comes along, what do? Abortion? See, for these parents, they are only thinking about themselves. You know why they don't want children? Because they don't want to spend money on you. They want to spend time on you. They want to spend time on themselves. I don't like to use the word that they are selfish. But they are really making a logical decision not to spend money on you, not to spend time on you. They want to spend it on themselves, which they do have that right though. Although children will come naturally. And that's where the tension and the struggle comes. Well, they could have spent more time for themselves. More places to go, maybe pursue higher education, etc., etc. Pursue their hobbies. But they have spent it on you. The time they brought you to school, brought you to all those tuition classes, etc., etc. Time they sacrifice. Thirdly, some even sacrifice their career, especially mothers. I know more than one very capable lady. The company wanted to promote her to become the CEO. But she turned it down. She told the company very frankly, very candidly, say that appreciate the company for trusting her and wanting to promote her. But yet she declined. Why? The reason was very simple. She said, I cannot give all the time that the company expects me to give as a CEO. I have a family to run. I have children to take care of. So this person, or these people I know, they surrender. They sacrifice that opportunity to rise to the top of the career ladder. All because of children. Do we ever appreciate our parents for doing that? They love their children too much to put you before their career. Fourthly, they sacrifice their freedom. With children, you are tied down. No more the two persons world. In Chinese, it's called the 二人世界. You cannot go dating anymore. And no, not that you cannot go. You have to go less. Because you have children to take care, to look after, to feed them, dress them, change, etc., etc. So they sacrifice their freedom. They could use all this for themselves. See, they exchange all the above, whether it's finance, whether it's time, whether it's career, whether it's freedom, for you, to have you, that you may grow up properly, provide for your needs, so that you and I, as children, can live a comfortable life. They did all that. They could have done it for themselves. And actually, we can also blame them too much for it. they are entitled to. So if we look from all this perspective, I think we can begin to appreciate them more for all that they have done for us. They don't normally tell that to us, but this is what they have done. Fifthly, how do we honor our parents? Well, in Proverbs chapter 23, verse 25 says, "So make your father happy, make your mother proud." Now, to honor, remember, to honor is to view them as important, that they are waiting, their words, we respect them, we listen to them. And then the Bible here says, and more so for the adult children, make your father happy and your mother proud. Now this is from the Message. This is another translation. I thought that this translation is a good translation. That's why I use this from the Message, the translation. Make your father happy and your mother proud. Now, how do we make our parents happy and proud? Now you must have them in your heart. Then you can remember to make them happy and proud. Now let me share this, my own experience. I'm talking about my children. My wife and myself, we love our children. When we love our children, we have them in our thoughts. When we eat something, we think about them. When we go to the supermarket, go to the market, we think about them. My daughter in particular, I know her, what she likes. She likes something very simple. Fish roll. Shellfish. She loves this thing. So every time when marketing, when I chance upon fish roll, most of the time I will purchase it. Either I charge her later, now that she can pay for it, or I will just bless her. Why? Because I know that when she sees the fish roll in front of her, she'll be happy. Now see, if we want to make our parents happy, very simple. All you need is you need to know what they like, what your mother likes, what your father likes, and do it for them. They will be happy. Perhaps one of their happiness is you come back home early. You come back home for dinner. It could be very simple things. It could be that they wanted you to get married soon. Just to make them happy. Make them proud of you. There are a few ways we can really honor our parents. Let me share this with you. Firstly, appreciate them. You see, without you, their life would have been different. Or their life would have been better. So learn to appreciate all that they have done for you, or done for us. See, when we understand what they have gone through to raise us up to where we are today, to give us an education, to train us, counsel us, lead us, guide us, correct us, even discipline us, and you appreciate them. The better you are now actually speaks well of your parents. That means the more successful they are. Secondly, respect them. Well, to respect does not mean that you have to follow everything they said. They are two different things. Because if you have come of age and you have the ability to make decisions, you know what's right from wrong, legal to illegal, moral and immoral, you know all this. So what your parents say does not mean that they are totally right, and you don't have to follow them 100%. But the least you can do is to listen. Give them a listening ear, but you don't have to follow 1%. I used to tell married couple, I say when your mother or your father comes, your parents come to your house, And then she start to, or they start to say, can you put this table, shift the table from this position to that position? Can you paint the wall from this color to another color? I say, you don't have to listen to them. Because they are no longer the head of your house. As the husband, you are the head of the house. Your father is the head of his house. He has no right to come to your house and tell you what to do. Because if he does that, you will have a big problem with your wife. If your father-in-law comes and do the same thing, you will have a big problem with your wife. See? So in this area, we respect them, but we don't have to listen to them. But we are still honoring them. So see, honor takes on a different perspective. To respect them is also to take advice. Take advice from them. When they are old, they may not have a lot of more to offer to you. But their advice are precious to us. And when you learn to ask them for advice, you honor them. They feel good. They feel important, you see. They feel that they are still waiting. But it doesn't mean that when you ask for advice and I ask for advice, that I must follow whatever decision or whatever suggestion they suggested to us. See, I remember one thing very well. When I got married and I bought my first HDB flat. To be very honest, I did not consult my parents about, or my mother in particular, about the height of our flat. And then I chose the 12th level. It's the top level. You know what happened? Low pressure, wall crack, ceiling sprawling. Everything is not right. Setting sun. Cooking my bedrooms. All my bedroom, 3 bedrooms, all like oven at night. Until about 8, 9 o'clock. Every night. See, I suffer. Why? Never consulted my mother. Because as an old person, as an experienced person, she will have advice. Sun, evening sun. A house that faces the evening sun, be very careful. See, I will say myself, untold sorrow. But I learned my lesson. I pay my tuition fee. I learn. So it's good to take advice. Well, you don't have to listen 100%. Thirdly, you can learn to support them. Support them. When they are old, perhaps financially they are not as well off. Give them financial support. Provide for their daily needs. I saw this on Facebook again. About a mother that went to court and sued her 4 sons. Her charge was she wanted to collect back the rental from her 4 children. What rental? She said, for the 9 months that they stay in my womb, I want to collect back the rent. The sons were all so shameful. Because the sons, they were not supporting their mother. And so the mother has to go to court to ask for rental for your 9 months stay in the mother's womb. I hope this does not happen to us. We are more sensible than that. And especially if we are of the Lord. So provide for them. Support them financially. Secondly, support them emotionally. See, when they are old, probably they stay by themselves and you have your own family. They are lonely. Well, we are tired about hearing their stories, right? Oftentimes we are tired about hearing their stories because they told their stories so many times we can even tell them. But I want to tell you one thing. While you are tired of hearing their stories, they are not tired hearing your story. So it is good for you to go and tell them your story. So you visit them. Don't forget their anniversary, their birthdays. Visit them as often as possible. Call them as often as possible. Now we are living in a global village. The whole world is only one phone call away. Now you even have Zoom, right? You can see on Zoom the facial expression. You can use FaceTime. Technology has helped us So make good use of this. So these are the ways we can honor our parents. Sixthly, I want to talk about Moses. Why I want to talk about Moses? Remember, the Ten Commandments was given to the Hebrews through Moses. Moses went up to the mountain, God spoke to him, gave him the Ten Commandments. He took the Ten Commandments back and he instituted it to the Jews, to the Hebrews. But you know something? If you are a leader and we don't live by example, we have no credibility. If Moses did not live up to what this fifth commandment is, he has no credibility, you know. No? But there is a passage in the Bible that can prove Moses' credibility. That is found in Exodus chapter 18. I believe by this time Moses' parents would have died. So the Bible never mentioned about the parents. But the Bible mentioned about his father-in-law. That's interesting. So in Exodus chapter 18, it tells us that one day the father-in-law brought his children and his wife to Moses. And 18:7 said this. So Moses went out to meet his father-in-law and bowed down. Now, bow down. See, who was Moses? Moses was the top leader. He is an equivalent to an emperor, the prime minister. And he bowed down. Have you seen a king in the Chinese history bow down to the father-in-law? Oh, you will never see that. But Moses bowed down. You see the way he respected the father-in-law? And kissed him. See, there is honor. There's protocol. There's warmth. And they greeted each other. Now you can sense here that the relationship is good. See, Moses lived up to the fifth commandment. Honor your father and mother. That includes actually our father-in-law, mother-in-law. Let me say that. Let me also quickly add. Whatever your wife gave to her parent, don't stop her. Whatever your husband supported his parent as wife, you also don't stop her. Stop him. It is not right to do that. You put him or her in a very difficult position because they are just trying to be good sons and good daughters. We can do that. Moses gave us a very good example. As a leader, he observed the fifth commandment. Not only that, if you read on, it tells us that after the day was over, the next day, Moses began his normal routine again. What was Moses' routine? Well, Moses heard cases, all the problems that the Hebrews had. Moses heard them one by one. And so from morning to night, Moses, it's like some members of parliament, they have meet the people session. So they hear cases, write letters to this department, that department. They are very good. But they are so tired. They hear so many stories. And Moses was in this kind of position. From morning till night. And he became very tired. And so his father-in-law gave him a suggestion. His father-in-law said, hey, my dear Moses, you can organize and get it, get a better system in operation. So the father-in-law suggested to him that he should delegate. He should delegate to others so that his load will be lightened. See, the father-in-law gave him a good administrative suggestion. So if you are a leader, may I encourage you? Do not think that a person like Moses needs no advice. He's the top dog. No, Moses gave us a fantastic example. He bowed down when he meets the father-in-law. He kissed him. They greeted each other. He took his advice very seriously. It's not because you are a different generation, you got no advice to give you. Who says so? You just read Exodus chapter 18. See, Moses was the one who instituted the Ten Commandments, but he himself became an example. Let me say this. We can speak a lot. We can talk publicly. We can preach about it. But if we don't live up to it, nobody believes us. That's why leaders are hard. It's very hard on leaders. We are like goldfish in a bowl. Everyone watches. Everyone watches us. So I encourage, let's be good leaders. Don't give lip service. Show it with our lives. So that the people under us, they will respect us. I can tell you this. If not, your respect will go down the drain. So let's learn from Moses. Moses gave us a good example. Finally, in conclusion, let me affirm all those who are honoring their parents that you keep on honoring. Keep on doing it, good work. Praise the Lord that you are doing a good work. Keep doing it. And for those who are not, may I encourage you that you learn. You learn. After this message, I hope that you have learned something that you can honor your parents, even at different age groups. Start doing it. And for those who have slackened, for whatever reason, maybe it's because of career, because of this COVID-19, I don't know, because of this or that, their pressures in life, financially, emotionally, whatever, then can you take a step forward? Do something. Don't do it tomorrow. Do it afterwards. Give your parents a call. You can do it. And in closing, I want to close with this illustration. Many years ago, I heard this is a Japanese story. It was in Japan many years ago, they were not prosperous, and so life was hard. There was this family of 4 persons: the father, the son and his wife, and his grandson. There were 4 persons in the home. But the situation of the family has come to such a point whereby they cannot support 4 mouths in the home. They have to sacrifice 1 person. So one day, the son took out a basket, put the father in the basket, and he carried the basket, and he brought his son along and went up the hill. So, grandfather, father, grandson, 3 of them went up the hill. Up to about midpoint where there was an open space, the son put the father down, carry him out from the basket, and then find a tree or tree stump that's cooling and place the father there, spoke to the father for a short while, and then he turned around, held the son's hand, and began to make his way downhill. After about 100 steps, the son asked his father, "Daddy, what happened to Granny?" And the father answered the son and said, "Well, we are poor, we cannot afford to have 4 mouths to feed, so we are leaving Granny here." So the son said, "Daddy, wait. I want to run back to Granny there." And then the father asked, "Why? Why do you want to go and talk to Granny again?" The son said, "No, Daddy, I want to take the basket back. So the next time when you are old, I will use the same basket and carry you up the hill." My friend, is your son like your father's son? Will he make you happy? Make you feel blessed? Well, God bless us all, and let us do better than what we are doing now. Have a blessed Father Days.